Welcome, modern day mystics, fellow truth seekers, James and Justin back again. And ever since I discovered Kriya Yoga, I've always been fascinated with the elders or the gurus or the people, the history behind it. So I found this documentary film done by Open Your Reality on the Mahavatar Babaji. So this is kind of like the story.
Mahavatar Babaji's a founder of Kriya Yoga?
I think so, yeah. I think so. He's the one who kind of like, he's the backdrop, the beginning story of how it all came to be. And then like there's now this whole lineage of people that like are descendants of the gurus before them. Like from
to this day?
To this day. They even have a YouTube channel. I've tried to get them on the show before.
Holy moly.
So
yeah.
Maybe one of these days.
Yeah.
But anyway, we won't keep you guys waiting. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Open Your Reality. Many of you have been asking me to make a video about Mahavatar Babaji. So who is Mahavatar Babaji and why is he so important? First, he is one of the ascended masters and arguably the highest level spiritual figure that has ever graced the earth. He is the teacher of teachers. His most famous disciple was Jesus, and he constantly works to bring peace and love to the world. Babaji taught many spiritual adepts through the centuries, the most famous being Paramahansa Yogananda, who wrote Autobiography of a Yogi, easily one of the greatest pieces of spiritual literature ever composed in my humble opinion. Few other spiritual figures compared to Babaji in terms of his power and his impact on the world from behind the scenes. The term Babaji is actually a broad Indian word which means revered father. For those interested in yogis and spirituality, you've probably come across the name Mahavatar Babaji at one time or another. Many who watch this video have not heard of the great sage or know little about him. Either way, I made this video to be the definitive short biography of the life and work of Mahavatar Babaji. Of all the spiritual figures that exist, I most strongly identify and resonate with Babaji. And in my heart, I believe he can hear me when I pray or speak to him. I first learned of the great master from reading Autobiography of a Yogi over 2 decades ago. The information in this video comes from that book and others written about Babaji. So let's begin. The legend of Mahavatar Babaji dates back to 203 BC. He was said to have been born on November 30th in a small eastern coastal village in the far south of India. His birth name was Nagarajan, which literally means king of serpents. His father was the priest of a village temple, and Nagarajan adored his mother, whose love for her was unconditional. These details of Babaji's early formative years were revealed to Marshal Govindan, who was initiated into Kriya Yoga in 1970 and dedicated his life to it, becoming president of Babaji's Kriya Yoga operations and initiating over 10,000 people in its teachings. If you didn't know, Kriya Yoga is a powerful branch of yoga that was passed down from Babaji to his disciples, forming a lineage that continues today. Govinda wrote a very informative book on Babaji in 1991, titled Babaji and the 18 Kriya Yoga Tradition. According to Govinda, Babaji personally told him of the details of his early life in India back in 203 BC. This includes Nagaraj being kidnapped and sold as a slave when he was just 5 years old. Fortunately, his new owner was a kind man and freed Nagaraj shortly after. Nagaraj then joined a small group of wandering ascetics who sought communion with God. During the next few years, Nagaraj wandered from place to place, all the while studying holy scriptures like the Vedas, Upanishads, and the Bhagavad Gita. This period in his life, still his formative years, became his quest for self-realization. I'm sure that he had probably lived many lifetimes before, all of which prepared him to arrive at this point in his level of spiritual achievement. Govindan claims that at age 11, Nagaraj made a difficult journey on foot and boat with a group of ascetics to Karagama, Sri Lanka. There, Nagaraj met two yogic masters and became their disciples. He did intensive yogic practices with them for a long time, becoming initiated into Kriya Kundalini Pranayam. Upon mastering the techniques of both teachers, Nagaraj made a long pilgrimage to Badrinath, a holy town located in the mountains of northern India. There, Nagaraj spent 18 months practicing the Kriya Yoga he learned in Sri Lanka. At the end of those 18 months, Nagaraj finally attained self-realization, or what some would refer to as enlightenment. As such, he could now transcend time and space, having become master of this physical realm. In subsequent years, he would come to be known as Mahavatar Babaji. Whether you believe these historical claims by Govinda or not, it seems plausible that Babaji had to walk the path of an ascetic, become initiated, and practice for long periods of time to reach self-realization. While nobody is certain what happened to him in the ensuing centuries, the next recorded evidence of Babaji's whereabouts came in 1861. The details were beautifully penned in Autobiography of a Yogi. In that year, Lahiri Mahasaya, working as an accountant for the British government, was walking in the hills of a desolate area when he heard a voice calling his name. Following the voice up the mountain, he met a tall and divinely radiant sadhu. Lahiri was amazed the sadhu knew his name. That sadhu was none other than Mahavatar Babaji. At this point, Babaji would have been over 2,000 years old, but looked a youth of no more than 25 years. How could that be? It's more than likely the spirit of Babaji took on this body, incarnating into the flesh to communicate with Lahiri. Perhaps Babaji felt the time was right to spread the message of Kriya Yoga to the world, and Lahiri would be the person to initiate it. In their short time together, Mahavatar Babaji revealed that he had been Lahiri's guru in a past lifetime. Lahiri didn't remember any of it, but with a tap on the forehead by Babaji, the memory of his past life came flooding back to him. Babaji then initiated Lahiri into Kriya Yoga and instructed him to initiate others. Lahiri's sole desire at that point was only to remain with Mahavatar Babaji. But Babaji told Lahiri he must return to the world and teach Kriya Yoga to others, whereby it would spread across the globe. Lahiri went on to have more meetings with Babaji, which were recounted in several books. The next appearance of Mahavatar Babaji came in 1894 at the Kumbh Mela in Allahabad. This time the sighting was by a disciple of Lahiri. His name was Sri Yukteswar, who eventually became the master of Yogananda. Others at the Kumbh Mela remarked on how similar the resemblance was between Lahiri's description of Babaji and this young sadhu. In one of their meetings, Mahavatar Babaji instructed Sri Yukteswar to write a book called The Holy Science. This book essentially discusses the one unified message in all religions. Sri Yukteswar went on to have 2 more meetings with Babaji, including one with Lahiri present. Another disciple of Lahiri, named Keshabananda, recounts a meeting with Mahavatar Babaji in the mountains near Badrinath around 1935. Keshabananda was not only a disciple of Kriya Yoga, but the Sanskrit tutor of Yogananda. Indeed, many great insights about Babaji's life and mission on earth can be learned in chapter 33 of Autobiography of a Yogi.
So this is kind of a long one. Interesting. They've brought up the autobiography many, many times. Maybe 200 years from now. I don't know if it's considered like a holy scripture now, but it might be interesting in 200 years to see where it goes, because it gets a lot of praise. That autobiography, which
you read
which
it.
I read.
You read it. What was the most outlandish thing that happened in it?
There's lots of miracles. I could probably cite a few, but I thought the one that was really cool was the guy who was walking in the wilderness trying to find who was it again? I think it might have been the Mahavatar, but he was trying to find this guru. And when he showed to him, he was like, help me, show me the truth or whatever. And he was like, no, I refuse to. And he's like, well, then I'll kill myself. And he was like, whatever. And the guy like went and killed himself. And then he sent his disciples down the hill to go get him and bring him back, and brought him back to life and was like, now you're ready.
That's pretty crazy. Killed himself and then he didn't.
Yeah.
And wasn't there something with tigers? There was a tiger
There was
master?
like a tiger guru or something like that who could he could be with tigers and they wouldn't eat him and they'd do what he said and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's been a while since
and
I
then
read
this
it.
guy, and then this guy lived for 2,000 years. You know, it's interesting when it gets to the point where you get photographs of them. Like when we were young, you were a handsome devil, and a lot of girls were attracted to you. And I've always felt like I'm saying this from a place of I'm not sitting here like heartlessly saying this.
Yeah.
This thing that I'm about to bring up. A lot of these gurus are kind of funny looking, man.
Yeah.
Like they look like they never had a stake in the world. I bet you it'd be a lot harder to go the path of like it's like, how do you know you're talking to a spiritual person? Well, they're kind of funny looking. They need something. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you got to compensate. Like when you're, and it seems like I'm making a nothing point. I'm just saying when I look at these pictures, I'm like, I hope they smelled okay. Like I don't want to be around a bunch of weirdos. Some of these people seem like weirdos to me, and I'm definitely a weirdo. But I'm saying I get weirded out by other weirdos, and if I saw them and they smelled like, it's one thing if everybody's peaceful and they're nice, but if they're like gonna like hit me or fucking bite me or do something weird, I'd be like, you're weird, man, and what you smell kind of fucking weird. You know what I mean? Get some hygiene. That shit matters to me. It matters to me how hygienic or intention behind certain things. It's just the way it is. Sometimes the thing that leads you to the path of seeking enlightenment is you've got no stake in the world of the complete, the people born complete. They're beautiful from birth, they've got loving parents, and they were born into wealth. And then you get people with already a skewed perspective that don't have as hard of a time going, you know what, I'm just going to drop this identity, and then they're enlightened or whatever, right? Just maintain your hygiene, please, and try not to be scary.
So, well, one of the common trends that, again, we see here is Lahiri, who was basically up until the time where he discovered the Mahavatar, was probably just a regular dude. And then, out in the wilderness by himself, maybe that's a sign for like, if you really wanted to have some type of cosmic experience, don't go hurt yourself, but spend some time in the wilderness, just trekking around.
That's to me the sign when they show people in caves meditating in this thing, like they're painted up. There's no one around, but they've got face paint on, or they're in special robes and they're off in a cave doing this. I say that's somebody seeking. That's not somebody that's found yet.
Yeah,
that's not.
But Lahiri, I think I don't know if
found.
he was seeking, because he was just roaming around and he heard his name called, kind of like Moses when he was on Mount Ararat and he heard Moses, and then he went and saw the burning bush. He may not have even been seeking. God called him, and in this case here, the Mahavatar looks like he called Lahiri. He wasn't even looking for him.
Right.
Maybe there's a lesson right there. Stop looking. Stop seeking.
You know where I stand on that. It's getting pretty challenging on this channel to say things, because I'm like, don't believe anything. You ought not have any religion. Thou shalt have no religions at all, is what I say. Don't believe anything. Don't believe any stories. And kind of referring to that, I was, and I don't want to be, this is not from a place of disrespectful. This is just from a place of peculiar desire to divulge exactly what I'm thinking. So when he mentioned that he prays to this 2,000-year-old guy sometimes.
Yeah. You
remember that part?
Yeah.
He said he prays to him.
This guy, the narrator.
The narrator said he sometimes prays to him. Whether you pray to Jesus or Buddha or a saint or whatever, just know they don't exist and you're praying to yourself. That's not mean to say. I'm saying they exist, but you are them. You're it. You're praying to the person you're praying to. You already are them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Now, you could take it, just to throw some confrontation there, you could say that the way that you stated that statement was stated as fact, which means that you believe that is the case.
Yeah.
Which means you believe it.
No, I don't actively believe it. To me, believing is walking around keeping alive something, walking around stoking the fires of it. I said it and I forget it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, leave it here. We'll continue on. We'll watch till the end.
Merely summarizing the information from that chapter does it a severe injustice, so I highly recommend you read the chapter in its entirety. You won't be disappointed, I promise you that. In this chapter, Yogananda says Babaji is an avatar, which means the descent of divinity into flesh. Yogananda describes Babaji's spiritual level as being so high that it is out of the realm of human comprehension. Babaji, having attained the highest spiritual state, is basically free from the cycle of death and rebirth we all face, also known as reincarnation. As I mentioned in my Ascended Masters video, which you can see here, Babaji only inhabits a physical body for the sake of helping humanity. Yogananda and the Upanishads refer to beings like Babaji as avatars. Some know them as Ascended Masters. According to Yogananda, Babaji's chief mission is to assist prophets in carrying out their special dispensations. For this reason, Babaji has been conferred with the title of Mahavatar, which means Great Avatar. Yogananda said that through the centuries, Babaji has preferred to work in humble obscurity, away from the glaring eye of the public. For this reason, no public appearances were made for centuries, and perhaps much longer than a millennia. But that does not mean Babaji has not been working behind the scenes. Yogananda said that he has partnered with Christ to try and save mankind from the evil that has befallen it. Babaji is well aware of worldly events and the epidemic of materialism that has taken hold of the world in the last 100 years. While some avatars or ascended masters come to Earth to achieve a specific mission and then disappear as soon as it's completed, Babaji is more concerned with the slow evolutionary growth of the planet and has thus been a permanent fixture on Earth. It's true that Babaji could have departed the Earth plane long ago, but he stays for us. By mastering himself and the physical world through his deep spiritual practice, he is able to maintain a youthful body while doing the amazing, like becoming invisible, teleporting, manifesting anything he needs out of thin air, and speaking any language. Babaji's powers are vast, but they are never misappropriated and only used for good. Yogananda said that Mahavatar Babaji traveled in a small band that included 2 high-level American disciples. After being in one locale for a period of time, Babaji will decide it's time to move on. This is usually done by astral travel or teleportation, but not always. Sometimes the group goes on foot from mountain peak to mountain peak. Babaji does not require any food or drink to sustain his body. He only eats if someone brings him food as a gift. This is done as a social courtesy, and not because his body needs it. Another reason for Babaji's presence on Earth is to furnish humanity with a concrete example of its own possibilities. Indeed, he has been the source of spiritual inspiration for hundreds of thousands of people, especially since the world first learned of him in Autobiography of a Yogi. In that book, Yogananda says that Babaji interestingly had a sister who was also self-realized and enlightened. Her name was Mataji, and described as being a young majestic woman with a halo around her body. One day, while the two were together, Babaji told her that he was thinking of finally giving up his body. Mataji begged him not to, pleading, "Please do not ever relinquish your form." Babaji replied, "Be it so, I shall never leave my physical body. It will always remain visible to a small number of people on this earth." Ram Gopal, who had been present during the conversation between Babaji and Mataji, explained to Yogananda that there is a divine plan for the earth. Babaji had been chosen by God to remain on earth for the duration of this particular world cycle, which stretches on for thousands of years. For that reason, Babaji will always be around. He appeared to Sri Yukteswar a total of 3 times, and to Yogananda at least once as well. Yogananda said one day Babaji just showed up at his door and told him he was the great Mahavatar Babaji that his master Sri Yukteswar had told him about. Babaji instructed Yogananda to go to America, where he would preach the gospel of Kriya Yoga and spread the great yogic science to the West. Indeed, Yogananda did just that, traveling to America as an ambassador for Babaji's Kriya Yoga. As Babaji predicted, Yogananda's time in the West was a huge success, and he was able to influence hundreds of thousands of people in the 30-plus years he spent in America. Through Autobiography of a Yogi, many people learned of Babaji in the ensuing years, including the Beatles, Steve Jobs, and countless other famous figures. While sightings of the great avatar were claimed on multiple occasions after his meeting with Yogananda, none were as concrete as what happened in 1970. In that year, a powerful ascetic around the age of 20 materialized in a cave in Haidakhan, India. He became known as Haidakhan Babaji, but he's thought to be the actual Mahavatar Babaji, just in a different body. Haidakhan Babaji lived for 14 years, until the death of his physical body in 1984. Whether he was actually the immortal spirit of Mahavatar or not is a debate for another video. Let me know in the comments section if you want to see a video on Haidakhan Babaji. Well, this completes our story of one of the most exalted ascended masters who has ever graced the earth. He is still with us, presumably moving about in the Himalayan mountains, out of public spotlight. Perhaps he has a small band of disciples with him. I sometimes think if you speak his name and say a prayer, he will answer it. I know he has for me over the last 2 decades. As of today, at least 4 million copies of the book have been sold, and it has been translated into at least 50 languages and continuously published since it was first released in 1946. It was the only book Steve Jobs ever kept on his iPad. Even today, people continuously report seeing Babaji.
I noticed you smiling there for a sec. I was like, "What's he? What did you find?"
No, I like the story. Part of me was thinking, wow, this would make a great movie if it hasn't been done already. Someone should, if you're trying to promote Kriya Yoga, you're trying to promote, this lifestyle or what comes out of it. It would be a good idea maybe to, create an actual movie or something, might spark some interest in people. But again, like you said, don't go ahead believing. I'm not going ahead and believing anything. I just find a fascinating story. It sometimes makes me want to look at the tangibles of what some of these people said. Like I said, I read the Kriya Yoga book. I read the autobiography, all interesting stuff, little nuggets of truth that you can carry with you. And just, it's fascinating. There's a few things in there that I learned that I didn't know. That's the first time I ever heard that he had a sister. And then also there was that thing in the 1980s there, that interesting guy there who came along, never even heard of that guy before.
Yeah, that's what I
died.
I paranoidly thought you were smiling at, like, Justin. Look, this negates what he was saying, because some of these people are actually handsome looking. That's what I thought you were. That's in my crazy mind. I actually thought you were thinking that I was going to get you.
Any final thoughts on the history of this stuff, or?
What did you say? The story with his sister was kind of interesting. That she was like, "Don't change your form," and he was like, "Fine, then I'll never leave this form." Just something about that was interesting to me, like the behavior of people that are enlightened, sometimes, like in stories, some of the decisions they make and things that demonstrate to me egoic stuff. Yeah, that doesn't seem very detached. Yeah, it seems like the opposite of detachment and like the beauty of realizing the finiteness of things or whatever.
Yeah. Interesting how it said in the beginning that he went and taught Christ.
Yeah, I thought that was funny too.
I'm sure there were some people that'd be like, "Yay!"
No, maybe not funny. Well, I don't know. Like it's funny because you can imagine somebody being so like, "No," yeah. And that's why I say with a lot of these things, they come in the form of tales. They come in the form of stories. They come in the form of things like you were kind of felt like you were seeing about me, which is like, well, is that a belief now? A lot of it turns into belief, and that's why I say, wouldn't it be easier if we just didn't have any religions? And I say that without getting lost in some kind of... I don't want to overly explain myself and bore y'all, But I'm saying, I say that in consideration of not considering all the finite reasons why it's that way. And the bottom line is it's fine the way it is too. Like, it's also fine if you do keep all your religions.
Yeah.
Whatever happens or whatever is of course what should be.
Yeah.
But like a lot of this stuff is like, it's just unneeded. Like I said, if you're praying to anybody, you are already them. You are already it.
Yeah.
And you're just seeking. You're just in the process of seeking.
Yeah. The part that I don't like about some of this stuff is like the exclusive nature of this. And it wouldn't be just this. It would be many spiritual belief systems out there about, like these individual moments that happen to like a collective, like a certain amount of people. Part of me just wishes that, like, why couldn't we like all of Earth experience some supernatural experience all at the same time, rather than it always being one guy or just a few people in a, an isolated spot.
Imagine trying to convince a robot that's been programmed. It's all of its program. Like, there's no programming within it other than this.
Yeah.
Its programming is, I exist and I'm real.
Yeah.
And imagine trying to explain to it that you're a robot and that's just programming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it even is almost absurd. You as the one trying to convince the robot would be like, what am I doing? He's right. He does exist.
Yeah.
The point is that you're just data.
Yeah.
That and data that's part of a whole. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And so when it comes to why doesn't the whole world just experience this enlightenment thing, there's the way of saying it or the way of perceiving it where it's like, it is.
Yeah.
It is already enlightened.
Yeah.
The world is enlightened. Enlightenment isn't a gaining. It's not a display of something different. It's this display of what actually already is.
Yeah.
And the losing of the illusion of distinction that causes a kind of like suffering, I guess, or distinction that causes a kind of myopia, distinctions that cause a departure from groundedness in what is.
All right.
Enlightenment is the losing of those distinctions. Not even a losing of, like, nothing changes. You can't, there's no person that can say I got it or I am it or something shit like that.
Yeah.
Really.
All right. Well, good video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our reaction on it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share this with a friend. And everyone, till next time, stay spiritual.